Hey, so today I want to talk about 1992 film The Candyman. The Candyman is directed and written by Bernard Rose, and it's adapted from a story by Clive Barker from his Book of Blood, and it's the story The Forbidden. Now, Candyman has recently seen a huge surge in its popularity because Nia Costa is actually directing the remake in 2021. So that's why a lot of people are actually curious about it. I have known about Candyman for a long time, and I guess it was just finally time to check out. So when I was going to watch Candyman, some things actually crossed my mind before I actually even saw the film. Uh, me when I watch films now, and in retrospect, when I watch a lot of old movies, film in like any kind of genre, there's usually a hierarchy, right? I have actually seen Halloween like last year, so for me, horror films have always been like modern. I usually gravitate towards modern stuff. It just means that I don't like them. I just watch them more, or I watch them before I watch old stuff. But old horror film is something that doesn't usually actually hold up in time. Like you take example for Halloween, it's a brilliant film, one of the greatest films ever. But I wouldn't call this like a horror film. The horror element I wouldn't think holds up well in kind of like current climate or the senses of a modern audience. So I actually watch these films as sort of an artifact or a thing from that era or what it represents. So in that way, I have seen a lot of 80s, 90s, or even 70s horror film, and Candyman. It was just I guess time for Candyman. But the thing is, Candyman, when how I watched it, and after so many films I've watched it in the 90s, it actually currently kind of perfectly summarized what Candyman is. Candyman is a kind of type of film that's never gonna be someone's first choice, but if you watch it and think about it a little, you're gonna like it. Candyman basically works with an urban legend, and Virginia Madsen is a graduate student, and she's actually writing a thesis about Candyman and the urban legend, and just things started rolling off from there. Now, rather than I would like to say that this film was very successful in its time as a horror film, but this film is also kind of very bare bones. The story is very kind of linear and kind of normal that you can easily understand, and the horror mythology or the kind of other things that usually gets delved a lot more in modern good horror films is not actually done that way in this film because it's a 1990s horror film. Horror was different back then. I totally get that. That's not an issue. But what this issue is that a lot of people are now kind of trying to call it a classic or trying to call it a great film, and I don't know about that because this is a good film. It stays with you, but the goal, it's actually very nice or not nice. It's actually very effective for its time. Now it doesn't hold up that well, and the story is very usual, and they do some things around the end that I have really mixed feelings about. I thought the ending was going to be a total train wreck at first where the ending was going. Thank God it wasn't. They actually kind of solved it, and they had a different ending. So in that way, I feel like Candyman kind of saved itself and redeemed itself. But for me, it's still one of the like above average horror films. It's nothing more than that. It will never be a great horror movie. It will never be something that people keep talking about, or because people are now talking about. I actually watched this film because Nia Costa's Candyman came along, and I think Nia Costa's Candyman also got very complicated reviews. So I don't think even this new Candyman is going to hold up that well. Though even that film has, I guess, cult potentiality. So I guess in a lot of ways, Candyman can be seen as a kind of a parallel to Blade Runner. It's always going to be great if you like it, and it's going to have its cult potentiality. People are going to watch it on their own time, but other than that, not a lot of people are going to care about it. Now, does that make it a good film or a great film? That's totally up to you. But I label it as a very strong film, and I think it's a good film. It's definitely a good film. This is not a great film. It's nothing like Halloween or any of other Carpenter's work. It's a very okay film. So I don't think there's any need to blow this out of proportion. And I give this film 3 out of 5. And if you want to watch this film because you like Tony Todd as Candyman, or if you want to check it out, what's happening, because the atmosphere and the kind of palpable tension, it works, but it doesn't work for that well, and it doesn't work for that much time either. So yeah, you should have to check it out. But if you're looking for, if you like seen all kind of other 90s film, this Candyman will definitely be in your radar. But before you watch Candyman, there's other tons of horror films that you should definitely watch that you also like way more.